Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to dive into the world of truth, justice, and unfiltered news with the one and only Matthew Gonzalez. As the host of IPJ the podcast, Matthew has fearlessly exposed corruption, murder cover-ups, and government shenanigans that so-called educated journalists dare not touch. With a visionary mind, Matthew founded Merced County News Television back in 2013, pioneering the way news was delivered to the public via social media. He was one of the first to go live from crime scenes using Bamboozer to stream live video to Facebook, captivating audiences with unprecedented access and a commitment to bringing you the raw and unfiltered truth. Matthew's relentless pursuit of justice and truth didn't stop there, holding district attorneys, judges accountable for their corrupt actions, and broke the shocking story of the UC Merced terror attack. Now, Matthew is back to reclaim the throne as the Central Valley's most trusted source for news and information. IPJ the podcast is the platform where he will bring you the stories that matter, shedding light on society's underbelly and giving voice to the voiceless. So buckle up, folks, and get ready to be informed, engaged, and entertained as IPJ the podcast takes you on a roller coaster ride through the dark undercurrents of our world. Welcome to the revolution of unmasked truth, brought to you by the brilliant mind and unwavering passion of IPJ's Matthew Gonzalez. Now, here's Matthew.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of IPJ the podcast. I'm Matthew Gonzalez, and I'll be your host as we take a walk on the wild side today. But before we dive into recent controversies surrounding Joshua Pinero and the Los Banos City Council, it's most important to understand the money and power that influence the locally elected leaders who are supposed to be representing their constituents, and not a person or a company, not a single person, that is, or company or companies. They're supposed to represent you, the constituency at large. But one person seems to have had their hands in much of the corruption and destruction of Merced County, primarily in Los Banos, California. In 2004, Greg Hostetler purchased land which he knew belonged to an elderly man named Richard Byrd, who was being held in the Merced County Jail by Sheriff Mark Pazin until he agreed to sell his land for a greatly reduced price. Others in the illegal land deal included Century 21 Salvadori realtor Stephen Malzi, Merced County District Attorney Gordon Spencer, my old friend, Merced County Sheriff Mark Pazin, another one of my old buddies, and Garth Pechenionino, David Gresham, John Julius, and Carl Campodanoca. I'm sorry if I got that last name wrong. I just obviously could not get that. But that was the list of folks. For years, residents of Merced County have filed numerous lawsuits against Greg Hostetler's companies, citing bad construction practices and the resulting financial hardships imposed upon homeowners. Greg Hostetler, who I believe has been driven solely by greed and a hunger for power, placed profits above all else. His construction companies were notorious for cutting corners and sacrificing quality. Merced County homebuyers were shattered when they discovered their dream homes were plagued by leaks, structural weaknesses, and crumbling foundations. In 2006, a flood damaged 275 properties in that area. Greg Hostetler claimed he did nothing wrong, and adding that it was best for all parties involved to work out a settlement with him that will have a happy ending. Unfortunately, the happy ending was not so happy for Merced County residents who continued to pay for Mr. Hostetler's reckless disregard for others and their property. In fact, Hostetler is a serial abuser of the county's natural wetlands. He deep-ripped, graded, and planted 1,100 acres of his own property and hundreds of acres of others' property near La Grande without permits also. The land was seasonal pasture land that contains numerous endangered species, wetlands, and vernal pools. But Greg Hostetler's misdeeds extend beyond construction irregularities. Shockingly, evidence has emerged suggesting that he engaged in bribery, attempting to influence the Los Banos city mayor for personal gain. Looking closer into Greg's personal ties to any of the Los Banos city council members, we were surprised at how quickly one popped out at us: Kenneth Lambert of District 1. What stood out? A quick lookup of Mr. Lambert's public information stated that he currently rents his home. Looking further to see who owns the home, we found something kind of strange. You see, Mr. Lambert used to actually own his home with a woman he listed as his spouse named Lauren K. Gordillo. Unfortunately, on December 6, 2010, their home went into default, owing about $348,465 in penalties, fees, etc. Mr. Lambert and Miss Gordillo's home was put up for auction on April 1st of 2011, but it did not sell until August 17th, 2011, when somebody paid $117,001 cash. Who bought Mr. Lambert's home? Stonefield Homes. And who owns Stonefield Homes?
Oh no!
Why, none other than Greg Hostetler himself. So, Greg Hostetler is Mr. Lambert's landlord. Mr. Lambert sits on the city council and has a vote as to how the city will manage lands, manage property, sell land, sell property, all things that Mr. Hostetler is very, very interested in and has been for a long time, and has been using, obviously, his money, which has been proven, to manipulate the locally elected politicians there in Los Banos. You see, in March of 2008, it was revealed that then Los Banos City Mayor Tommy Jones violated the Political Reform Act when he failed to disclose 3 personal loans he took from one of the area's largest developers, Ranchwood Homes owner Greg Hostetler. So yes, he owns many businesses: Ranchwood Homes, Stonefield Homes, many other businesses, and this is one of them. And he was paying Tommy Jones, a little extra money there. So it kind of makes you wonder how much Mr. Lambert has borrowed from Greg Hostetler, and if Mr. Lambert pays rent on the home he lives in now that Greg Hostetler purchased with cash in 2010. Also, did Mr. Hostetler loan Mr. Lambert any money? Has he done so recently? What is their relationship like? These are all very valid questions that you, the public, should be asking. Los Banos, you must unite as a community, organizing rallies, raising awareness, and demanding justice. We cannot allow powerful individuals to manipulate our local leaders for personal gain. Only you, the great and hardworking people of Los Banos, California, can restore transparency and integrity to your city. The people of Los Banos are appalled and outraged by these revelations, and an outraged community must demand justice and rally against the monstrous deeds of Greg Hostetler. Fill the streets in protest, waving signs, high in the air with words of defiance and demands for positive change now. Politicians who once turned an eye to Hostetler's misdeeds should face an uprising they cannot ignore. Los Banos' united voice will ring loud and clear. We will not turn away and tolerate your corruption any longer. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey into the dark side of Greg Hostetler's business practices and attempts to corrupt your local government. It's essential that we challenge corruption wherever it lurks and ensure that our community leaders prioritize honesty and accountability. Join us next time on IPJ the podcast when we continue to do what other journalists will not do, and that is hold our elected officials accountable for their corrupt and deceitful ways.